This is going to be your weekly reading, and if you didn't get to see it, I did do an all signs reading yesterday, which I'm really excited about, and I plan on doing that once a week. I'm also, I've done a twin flame divine partner reading, so if you are somebody that is on a twin flame journey, you might want to check that out. So I'm going to be doing those every single week. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with your reading. The first card that I have is the Nine of Coins. And basically with this card is, and there's a lot of energy in this spread of having really done your work, put your intentions out there, and it's like a waiting energy now. I mean, there have been some endings and there are some beginnings, but basically what I'm getting is a waiting energy with this reading. So I'm going to give you some messages that have came through from Spirit. This card here is letting you know that you've done all of the work that you need to do. And so basically do continue living. Don't make whatever it is that you are trying to manifest the focal point of your life, because when we're in a waiting energy, we're not being present and we're not being grounded. And we're also acknowledging the fact that we don't have something, and that's lack and scarcity. So you definitely don't want to be in that energy. You want to continue doing things that make you happy in the meantime. To clarify that card, we have the Judgment card. So Judgment is a very fear-based energy. It's very judgy. It's very... we want to label everything. We want to understand how everything works. It's very fear-based. So do make sure that you are not in this energy here of labeling things as good or bad. Because, you know, like I had, you know, for instance, I'm going to give an example. Yesterday, I've had some things that I'm going through that I've been very, very worried about. You know, I've had some money problems. I've had some legal problems. And I've been very worried about the outcome. And finally, yesterday, I said, you know what? I'm going to surrender all of this to divine selection. And I had heard of this concept before, but I didn't actually grasp it till yesterday. And basically, divine selection is the highest possible outcome. Because the universe knows, and your own soul, who is part, your soul is part of the universe, knows what's best. And a lot of times we want something, or we think we need something, but it's not for us. And so it's very limiting when we're only focusing our intention on what we think we want. So what I did was I expanded it, because I realized that the universe is such an abundant place, and the soul and the universal language like doesn't even have words. There aren't even words to describe it. It's kind of like infinity, but you know, how do you describe infinity? So I said, all right, I'm going to surrender all areas of my life to the highest possible outcome and to divine selection. I'm going to let them do it for me. That way I am sure to have the highest possible outcome, and then I'm going to get out of my way. And so it's kind of that energy. Don't judge and don't label things, and don't see things only in black and white. Because things can be happening to lead you to something better. We don't have to understand everything. We have the Three of Wands. And once again, I believe that the energy that I got from this card, and I actually looked it up in the book earlier. I'm going to try to describe it. It's about a choice being made. You've made some sort of choice, and now you're trying to stick to it. And your ego is getting in the way. Your ego is trying to tell you, you know, trying to let your fears get in the way. That whole, those codependent, obsessive thoughts are trying to come back in. And this is very hard. Breaking a codependency is very, very hard. It's very scary. And it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength and a lot of willpower. But I do believe that if you get into this energy, this surrender that I said that I had done, where you just surrender it to the universe or your higher, whoever your higher power is, and be like, look, I want the highest possible outcome. I would like divine selection in all areas of my life, and then just stop worrying about it. That surrender, there's power in surrender. So as you're going through breaking this codependency, do be very connected. Meditate. Spend a lot of time meditating, because this really will help you be empowered. I know when I was going through breaking my codependency, it was awful, because I was very codependent on my divine partner. What I did was I watched a lot of inner goddess guided meditations, like Shakti Goddess, and it really did help me. It really did help me step into my power. And I know a lot of people are big on healing, like healing different things. I'm more about raising consciousness and clearing energy than I am about, you know, healing, because it's my belief that you are whole and complete already. You just have to change your perspective. That's how we raise our consciousness, and that's how we clear things. We raise our consciousness, and we actually shine light on things that are in the background, that are in our shadow side. To clarify that card, we have, my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. So make sure, be very mindful of what you're focusing your energy on. And like I said, if you're coming from that place of lack, like that waiting energy that I said that I sensed in this spread, you are acknowledging that you are missing something, that you are not whole, you are not complete on your own. And that's the opposite of what you want to do. So do make sure, and the best way to focus your energy is to focus on yourself. I don't care if you're a parent. I know people a lot of times say, you know, your child needs to be your main focus. No, your main focus needs to be yourself, because that's what makes you a better parent. So definitely do that. We have the Death card. And basically, things had to end because they weren't for you. That is where divine selection comes into play. And this triggered me. When people used to talk to me about divine selection, it used to trigger me so bad, because I knew what I wanted. I didn't want something better. I wanted what I wanted. And the universe will just snatch things and people and circumstances from you that are not for you if you won't let them go. Because when you are so attached to things, that is that codependent energy. So if it triggers you when I say divine selection, that for the highest possible outcome, you know that the person that you're wanting right now might not be for you. Someone better might come along. If that triggers you at all, then that is codependency, and you are attached, and that is where you need to start. To clarify that, we have this Art Oracle card where it says, go to go far. Exaggerate the subtle. Share the unseen. Only an outsider goes inward. And I have been really teaching a lot, like in my other videos that I make too, like on Facebook. I've been doing live videos on Facebook where I have become a spiritual teacher and didn't even know it. Because when I had soul recognition with my twin flame in September 2016, I started making live videos. I had never made a live video. And so like my whole journey has been chronicled either with a vlog or a blog, because I started blogging as well. So it's the craziest thing. But in the description of my channel up in the corner, it has different links, and you can access any of those sites if you're interested. But I've been really teaching about this being an inward journey. Inward, it's not outward, because the physical are just the illusions anyway. You're a divine being having a human experience. I keep saying this. And how do divine beings have human experiences? By simulated realities. In your head is where your imagination is creating these. So be very aware of what you're creating. And that's the reason why it's so important to go inward, to stay out of your head, go inward and really focus on that vibrating core that you have inside of you, because that is your soul. I know I spent a lot of time trying to medicate it with with alcohol, you know, with I love my weed, don't get me wrong, but with weed and you know, but everything is all about intention. It's all about moderation. It's about not needing something and not using it for the intention of trying to mask something else, or because you're trying to run away from something. So I feel like I was trying to run away from that core because I did not like the way that it felt. But this is the information that came to me recently, is if you are feeling, then that is not your ego, because your ego is thinking. So anytime you are feeling, that is from your soul, that is your soul energy, and that is where you need to manifest from. That is what you need to focus on. This is an inward journey. We have the King of Cups. And I have really studied this new tarot deck. It's the Manga Tarot, and I love the book. And all tarot cards, each card has like the basic meaning to it. But every tarot deck and book have a different explanation. And I really, really like this one. Basically, they're talking about the Fool. You know, the Fool is the 0 card. That's the very beginning. The World is the very last of the major arcana. The Fool sets out on a journey. It's almost like The Alchemist. Have you ever read The Alchemist? He starts out on a journey to really learn his soul's purpose. And he has all of these experiences. And then by the time he gets to the World, he has everything he's been seeking. All of the knowledge, love. This here is love. The Ten of Cups, and you know, the King of Cups. This energy is, you know, you've achieved love. You're in this loving state. And how do we achieve love? Once again, this journey is not an outward one. This is not a physical journey. This is an inward one. And you have to return to the love of your core, of what you are, because you came from love. We all came from source energy, which is love, which we can connect to any time that we want to. But we took on all of these conditionings. And that's what we're working on, is really trying to, and spiritual awakening is waking up from that soul amnesia and remembering that you are love, and that you do have manifesting abilities, that you can create any type of reality that you want to, because we are all gods and goddesses in manifestation. So definitely remember that you are love. To clarify that card, we have curiosity, open, warm, initiate. So this is all about keeping your heart open in spite of what's happened, because we've got to let love in. Even if you've been hurt and you want to crawl back in your shell and you want to put all the walls up around you again, that is keeping love out. That is keeping you from experiencing, you know, whatever has ended, something new is coming in, and you're going to keep it away because you're going to block it. And you're going to push it back out, and you might not even recognize it because you're in this energy here of really, this is the energy you need to be in. You need to be open and warm and not cold. Be approachable. We have the King of Coins, and this king here is all about finances. This is all about the physical realm. This is the physical journey right here. This is grounding everything that you've learned in a spiritual inward journey into the physical, so that you have better experiences, so that you have higher vibrational experiences. You can put a spin on any situation you want. It was crazy because my daughter and I were playing around with this yesterday. And we had a situation where, you know, we kind of went into lower energies with it. And we had this whole thing made out to be one way. And then when I got home and I kind of meditated on it and I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? We basically can take any situation and put a spin on it. And we can either be in lower energies with it, or we can make it a higher vibrational situation. you can really see it. It's all about changing your view, all about changing your perspective. And that's the energy I'm getting from this card. And to clarify that, we have the World, and that's what I was saying about the Fool going out and having all of these different experiences. And this is the outcome. You know, he's conquered the world, so to speak. And how do we conquer the world? By realizing that we are indeed creating our own reality at any given time. I mean, I know I say this, but really, truly resonate with that. That you have all the power and you're creating your own world right now. So do put a spin on it and make it more positive. Play with it. I mean, it's crazy how you can like... You know, you can either see it from a victim point of view, like somebody has done something to you, or you can look at it from, you know what, I attracted this lesson. This was something I wanted to learn on a soul level, and you know what, I have learned this. So now we have, and I understand I'm learning my Roman numerals. I don't know how I missed that in school. This is the Nine of Cups. We have the 9 and we have the 8 of Cups right beside each other. And both of these are that make-a-wish, but that's also that waiting energy that I'm getting. And the message that's coming through is that you need to not make another person your whole focal point. Either it's someone that you're with now, someone you're hoping to meet, you know, maybe you're on these dating sites and you're like, man, if I could just, you know, find somebody, I'm alone, I'm single, I'm miserable. Really get out of that energy and really start showing yourself. Be the kind of love that you want. Really vibrate that from your core. To clarify the 9 of Cups, we have retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. And I'm really getting two different sets of people. I'm getting the ones who are single, who really need to retreat and really recharge their own battery, really fill their own cup and show themselves love and take some time off right now from relationships since you're working on this codependency. I haven't forgotten about that. That's what you need to be focused on instead of trying to get in another relationship right now. But we could also have, you know, we have people who are in relationships and, you know, maybe you have been having some relationship problems because of communication, or that codependency can apply to the relationship that you're in now. You're very attached, you know, and when we make someone else our focal point and we lose ourselves, you know, we either have to retreat and spend time alone, or maybe you need to retreat and spend this time with your significant other, really get away and really work on your connection. And then, you know, your relationship will improve if you just, and another message that's coming through is stop listening to bad advice. And this goes for both groups of people. It's really interesting. I've really never had that happen before, where I've had two groups of people come in that I was reading for. But if you are in a relationship and you have been having, you know, these issues, stop listening to others, because others don't know your relationship. And that's that whole energy I was talking about. Like I said, my daughter and I was talking about a situation that I've been in. And she really painted it in a very, and understands no judgment, in a very 3D way that I really bought into. And that is that whole, you can really put a spin on it any way that you want to. So do stop talking to others about your connections. Remember, you're creating. So you don't want anybody else to grab a paintbrush and start painting that picture with you. Especially, you know, if they're at a lower level of consciousness than you are. And there's no judgment. We're all at our different place, you know. You deserve love. You are lovable. So know this and give this to yourself. And And a lot of times our fears and doubts come up and we block love. We shut people out because we want to. I know whenever I have fears and doubts come up, I always have to pull it back to myself. Okay, if I feel like, if I paint that negative picture about a relationship that I have, that reflects on me because it means that I don't feel worthy. I expect to be treated badly because I don't feel worthy. You see what I'm saying? It reflects on you. So if you're going to create a better scenario, a better story, a better picture as you are creating in your mind, do make sure that you know that you deserve love and really be very trusting and invulnerable. And that's very scary. It's very, very scary. I had given, because we have this card here. It says, children signify friendly disposition, gentleness. And understand, each one of these fortune telling cards has like a positive and a negative connotation. And you know, I'm always going to take the positive one because we want to create a positive story. But with you, Cancer, I know that you've always gotten the child card. It seems like in every reading we get a child card. And I had given an example the other day, I think more than once, about puppy love. Remember when you had that puppy love? It was like your first love, and it was so innocent, and it was so beautiful, and it was so pure. And you didn't know you weren't supposed to trust this person, or that they could hurt you, and you needed to hold back parts of yourself. You didn't know that. You just went all in. And a lot of times we reminisce back to that time, and we're like, oh, it was so beautiful. I wish I could go back there. But the reason why is because of the energy we were in. That is the energy I'm getting from these child cards, is that that's the energy you need to be in to really attract that curiosity, that open, that warm, to really attract the kind of love that you want. And that involves being fearless, and you're really going to have to get in this energy and know that you deserve love. Really become empowered. The ring, when to the right of a person, is an unerring indication of a rich and happy marriage. And we're not going to talk about being disappointed in love, because I always take the high road. And remember, and these cards are teaching me that too, always, this is that spin. You can look at it either way. You want to always take the high road. You want to always trust. So I do feel like, you know, love is coming in once you realize that you deserve it. And if you are in a connection, start realizing that. And, you know, the other, you know, message that's kind of came through for this group of people that's already in a relationship is, if you expect the worst, guess what you're going to get? If you go looking for trouble or negativity, guess what you're going to get? So, you know, you really have to decide at this point if this relationship is for you, if you're staying in it, or if you're leaving, if it's going to be this ending that we were talking about, or if you're going to continue working on yourself and go inward. And then naturally, once you focus on yourself and you really start working on things, every other area of your life improves. And if someone's meant for you, they will stay, and if not, they'll fall off on their own accord and someone better will come along. That's that divine selection. I have these postcards from Spirit that I have been doing, and what I've been doing is I've been pulling it, I've been turning it over, and I have not been looking at it till I get done with the reading, because when it's in synchronicity with the reading, is so beautiful. So I'm anxious to read this. It says, Dear you, the simple yet powerful law of cause and effect means everything is in relationship. Every action on earth has a consequence, and even in the spirit world, there's a consequence for every action taken on your behalf. Right now, you're facing conditions that were set in motion by past decisions. Consequences are coming into being in your favor. They will remind you that making good choices and listening to your intuition pay off. If some things are a little off and uncertain, know that whatever you're facing, you can step beyond it just by using your imagination and acting on that instead of reacting to what is being presented. Everything you think and do has far-reaching reverberations in the web of life. Move to higher ground and have faith that what goes around comes around. The universe is always self-correcting anyway. Isn't that amazing? How we adore you. Wow, it's beautiful. And so it's all about making choices. And do definitely make those choices from your heart. That was that core, that vibrating core. And stay out of your head unless you're being mindful and you're creating positive experiences. So over the next week, just be very mindful of your thoughts and where you're vibrating at. And do work on that codependency thing. Thank you for watching. And if you would like a personal reading, I will include my email in the description of the video. Thank you.